Hi everybody, and welcome back to another one of our online academy videos. All you young whippersnappers that want to learn about video production, media, photography, script writing, lighting, cinematography, video photography, sound design, the list is just endless. Now, when I started way back in 2007, when I started script writing, I think that was my first course that I did was script writing. I think I had writer's block, creativity block. I didn't have a creative workflow. I didn't know where to find inspiration, how to tackle this idea of taking an idea or concept, even getting ideas and concepts down, writing them down, getting them shot, and then eventually releasing it out into the world. I didn't know how to do that, so that was very frustrating. And for a long period of time within my video production career, I struggled with that. Now guys, when it comes to creativity, whether you are doing a short motion graphic animation, whether you are busy writing a script, whether you are busy doing a graphic design project, or you're shooting a short film, or you're shooting a music video, even if you're doing a photography project, whether you are doing landscape photography, portrait photography, there is creativity involved. I want to share two quotes with you that really inspired me in the last couple of years. The first quote is from Pablo Picasso that says, "Inspiration exists, it's got to find you working." And then the second quote is from a guy, now I'm going to be paraphrasing here. If you ever watch the Netflix series Abstract, guys, it's all about creativity. It's all about how people find the inspiration. I think you will find it worthwhile to watch that. Now, in the first episode, we meet a guy that is busy illustrating for The New Yorker. Now, he tells us a little bit about where he learned to illustrate, and in that, he talks about a quote that he heard from his professor. I would assume now, drawing from memory, correct me if I'm wrong, down in the comment section, his illustrator professor said the following: "Inspiration is for amateurs. Professionals go to work every day." And I love that. You know why I love that? Because creativity, when it comes to how am I creative? Where do I find inspiration? It means it can be a learned skill. It is not necessarily something that you have to be born with, some fairy dust that has to be sprinkled on your nose when you wake up one morning, some magic lamp or some magic thing that actually finds you. I think creativity and inspiration can be worked. It's a skill that can be learned. Now, I'm going to talk to you about 4 keys that you can use, or 4 things that is going to kickstart your creativity. Yes, kickstart your creativity. Before we do anything in life, whether we are starting that script, whether we are writing that novel, whether we are going on a photography project to do cityscapes or bridges or doors or whatever it is we do, we start with an idea, we develop that idea into a story, and every story and every idea is then born from that, cultivated and worked on. So where do you start in all of this? Well, my first key is the following: just start. No matter what you do, just start. Don't wait for inspiration to come. Be intentional about it. Go find inspiration. Go look for it. Just start. I think that is the hardest part for creatives when they're just starting out in the video production industry. For me, it was really hard, and I don't know if it was hard for other people. That's why I'm sharing this. It was really hard just to find that inspiration, find those cool ideas. And I realized through all of this, I've just got to start. Whether it is grabbing an A4 paper, whether it's grabbing my notebook, whether it's grabbing my laptop and starting to type up an idea, a couple of concepts, I've just got to start. Procrastination will be your enemy in being creative and finding your creative voice and finding your creative outlet, whatever it is you're trying to do. So just whatever you do, just start. The second thing the second key that I want to talk to you about is find and develop a creative process. Why is this important? Because it helps you to just start. What a creative process does also, it envelops, it sets borders. Now you're going to go and you're going to say, wait a minute, Joss, I'm a creative. You know, I want open borders. I want freedom. I don't want my creativity to be stifled. Guess what? Neither do I. That's why I think this is great. Think about painting. When you're busy with a painting, do you just go paint on anything and just continue painting and painting and painting and painting and painting until you're done painting? No. You choose a canvas, whether the canvas is this small or whether the canvas is really big, you choose a canvas. And then you start to paint and be creative in that canvas. Now, whether you're doing photography or whether you're doing a video production or videography, you also have a canvas. You have an aspect ratio. You're shooting portrait or landscape, but you're doing it within borders. And also, you have a beginning and end. You pick up your camera, you go shoot, you download all your footage, you start to work on your footage. If you go look at it, there's a process to everything in life. Now, yet again, when you're just starting, you're busy doing what? You're being intentional. You're not waiting for inspiration to hit you. You're not waiting for something to happen to you. You're going and you're being intentional and you're going to go and get it. And that is what a workflow does. It helps you with a starting point. It helps you with an ending point. It helps you connect the dots. Now think about it this way. If you go to the gym, you have a workflow. You might not have a whole program from start to finish, but you have a workflow. You get dressed for gym, you arrive at the gym, you will go onto the treadmill to warm up, or you'll get on a bike or on the rower, but you'll start off with warm-up. That warm-up will be anything from 5 minutes to 20 minutes. Then after your warm-up, you might do some stretching, and then you'll actually get into what you are doing, whether that is parkour, whether that is weight, whether that is more cardio. Then you do that, and then you stretch, or you do something else to cool down, and then you end. Now, I didn't get into any specifics. Did you do legs? Did you do chest? What chest exercises did you do? No, I didn't get into any of that because that's not what workflow is about. Workflow is about connecting the dots, helping you go from point A to point B to point C to point D. And the most important part of a workflow is it helps you to start somewhere. Because if you don't know where to start, that is probably the most frustrating place to be. And that is the breeding ground of what I call the enemy to your soul, and you'll hear all about that. And yes, for sure, for some people, it is the devil. For me, the devil comes in the form of procrastination. And I think that is the enemy of all creatives. So a workflow helps you to just start. The third key that I want to talk to you about is creative processing. You've got to allow yourself to creatively process. Now, we've all heard about verbal processing. And I've heard it probably more than anybody else in the world because I'm a bit of a verbal processor. So you're processing information, you're processing a bunch of creative ideas. Don't take the first best creative idea that you have, or the first worst creative idea, or the first middle ground creative idea. When you start with your white piece of paper or your notepad or whatever you are, and you're busy with your creative ideas, allow your mind, allow your thoughts to just relax and just start writing down different ideas and allow your mind to process. Yet again, you've got to just start. If your process is sitting down, getting all your distractions, make that short 5 minutes, sit down, start, and then start to do creative processing. Now, the thing with creative processing, that's a caveat, and that is not nice, but it is sometimes the most amazing thing to do, is you take that piece of paper and you throw it away. Or you write down a bunch of ideas and you put it one side. You'll have to be prepared at some point in time to scrap that idea and start completely afresh and anew, but from a different angle. I was watching a video of Peter McKinnon the other day, well, I wouldn't say the other day, probably a year or two back. And I was looking for some inspiration, and I came upon his YouTube video, and he was talking about doing this coffee montage and just getting different angles of the same shot that he was trying to take. Now, whether he was pouring the coffee, take it from the top, take it from the side, take it from the bottom, swirl your camera around. He said, be creative. What he's talking about is creative processing. You're allowing yourself to go through different things and different scenarios and different ways of thinking to get to what you really want. Now, what's nice about his creative processing, and I've got to mention that here, is when he gets to editing, he then decides which shot he likes. But now he has a canvas. He has a palette of different shots that he can try, and he can see which one works the best. The last key, the fourth key is that I want to talk to you about is dig deep. I love what that professor said to that illustrator. Amateurs wait for inspiration, professionals go to work. If I'm talking about workflow, if I'm talking about just starting, it is work. To really get to that creative pinnacle is just work. Now you'll say, wait a minute, Joshua, what about Mozart? He just sat at the piano and he just played, and the guys that did the work, their jaws dropped. That is true. But imagine how amazing Mozart would have been if he did more work, put in more effort, try to put himself harsh. Now, I don't know if this is really what happened in Mozart's life. I'm just referencing a movie that happened in. But yes, I can tell you one thing about work, and I can tell you one thing about putting the effort in to find something, to dig deep. And sometimes talent is not as amazing as what you think it is. Actually putting in the work, the 10,000 hours, putting in the effort every single day can take you further sometimes than what raw talent can take you. Why? Because your brain is an habitual machine. It likes working on habits, and the more it does things over and over and over again, it finds the better, most efficient, most creative, most amazing way to do it. So if you do it over and over and over again, it becomes natural, becomes part of your DNA. That's what a talent really is. You pick up something, you hold it the right way, or you aim it the right way, or you shoot it the right way. From that moment, you've got a natural feeling of inclination. And you know what? That can be learned as well. So guys, I leave you with this 4 keys. I hope you found this helpful. If you found this helpful, please subscribe to this channel, leave a comment or a like. We'd like to hear from you. And if you feel like there's anything extra you want to add to it, leave it in the comment section. This is a channel about learning and exploring and try to become the best versions of who we can be in our career, our profession, our calling in terms of creativity. I'll see you in the next video.